In this scenario, we've got a 42-inch tall side mount system, and then that's going to convert and go down the stairs also on a side mount system. We've got 42 on the deck, so we've got to step that down when we hit the stairs. So we need to locate our holes on our newel post and the rest of our stair run, and then we'll string our cable. So we have all of our posts temped up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my 1x4 and 2x4 and lay it out like we did on the other side. The only difference being this is a side mount versus a deck mount like we did on the other side of the stairs. What I've done is the same thing as the other side. I used some scrap 2x4s and 1x4s, get my levels to start. As long as the post is level, it's going to be in the same position. It's just a little off center, but it makes it easier to do my layout. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines on the bottom of my 1x4 across the face of my post. And then I'm going to locate my hole center on my newel post coming off the deck, and we'll see where we're at from there. I'm marking the bottom of my 1x4, so I have my reference line on all three posts once I have my marks on there. And then I will compare that to my hole center on my newel post and see where we sit. So we have all of our posts marked, and so I'm going to go ahead and take down the newel post and do a little layout and figure out where our hole centers need to be, and then we will start prepping posts. So we're going to transfer two lines across. We're going to take our reference line that we did with our 1x4, and we're going to transfer that to our face. And for right now, we're just going to kind of put an R on that for reference so we don't accidentally drill that. So our hole center is at 9 inches. Let's go ahead and transfer that to the back, or the side that's going to be running down the stairs. And we got just really, really lucky. We're actually at like 9 1/16. So we're going to go ahead and mark 9. And then we're going to see what happens. And we need to do 3-inch centers and see where that puts us. So we're going to go ahead and mark the center of our post. Something like that. And then we'll lay out our hole centers every 3 inches, starting at 9. So 9, 12, 15. So all 13 cables are going to come through this post. Okay, now we need to figure out where our top rail is going to sit. So I used two 2x4s underneath my 1x4 to get me up to the deck level. So that means I'm 3 inches up off my reference line. So I'm going to go ahead and start at 30.5 as an add. That would put me at 33.5, plus 2.5 for my top rail would put me at 36 roughly. So let's try that and see if that works. So I'm at 9. Actually, I'm at 9 1/16. Plus 30.5 would be 39 1/16. So that means our top one, our second one, and our third one are all going to get that application. And then our bottom 10 will go through and down the stairs. So this stair run will only have 10 strands of cable, whereas the other side have 11 strands of cable. So let's figure out where we need to put that last hole in order to accommodate our top rail, snap pocket, and top shear block. We're going to go ahead and mark hole center on this one. Okay, so that gives us an idea where that's going to be. And basically, I need to be able to get in there and tighten it and not run into the one above it. So I need to get down as tight as I can on top of that, while leaving me a little room on the top. So let's mark that there and see where that puts us. So that puts us at 39 1/4. So that just means we did a 30 1/4 add. It should bring us out about 35 3/4. So that'll be fine. So we'll go with that plan. We're going to line the snap pocket, bottom of the snap pocket up with our line. We're going to go ahead and punch one side. And we're just going to use our quick square and cross that dimension. Again, using the outside lines, the two outside lines on the post. We're going to drill straight through and just bring it straight back down to pitch. Now we're not going to attach our top shear block yet. We're going to go ahead and drill the rest of our holes, and then we'll move on to our next post. So I pre-drilled everything with the 3/16. Now I'm going to come back and clean up the bottom 10 holes with a 1/4 inch drill bit. Finishing that right now. And then our top 3 are actually going to get quick locks, and so those we're going to take to 7/16 inch. All right, so I'm going to attach my top shear block, and then we're ready to hang this post back up and move on to the next one. So as you can see, we've got our hardware installed. This one, because it's a 42-inch tall system, we didn't have to cut the overall height of the post, so I've just hung it back up. We'll go ahead and do our intermediate now. Okay, so we've removed our intermediate posts. We've moved our reference line so that it lines up with our bottom cable hole. We went ahead and transferred our side mark to both faces, so that'll give us our starting point for our first cable hole. That'll also give us our reference point for our overall height. So this one in our upside comes out at 12 1/8. We're going to add 30 1/4 to that. That'll give us 42 3/8 on that side for an overall height. On the low side, we've got 10 15/16 plus our 30 1/4, which will give us 41 13. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. I'm going to go ahead and mark centers on my post, and I'm going to go ahead and do my cable holes 3 inches on center, and then we'll drill it. And remember, on this one, we're only going to have 10 cables instead of 11. So we'll start with a 3/16 on everything. You can hit them with a 1/4 inch. All right, now we have both sides done. We'll go ahead and rehang our intermediate post. All right, so we have our intermediate post all put back in, so let's take our bottom post down. So in this scenario, our top 3 cables are going to run straight through our newel post and end, and our bottom 10 are actually going to run continuous down our run. So we did 1/4 inch holes on the face, just like we did on the intermediate on the other side. We did it like that on the intermediate on this side. The kicker is the bottom post. We have to be able to pass that hardware through there. So what we're going to do is we're going to oversize our holes, and so we don't have to bring them to pitch in a bigger hole. I'm just going to do the back at 3/8. That way you get one clean hole. And then the front we're going to do at 5/16 and bring to pitch, because it's going to be hidden by your bevel washer anyway, so nobody will be able to see it. So we've got the back of our post. We've got everything drilled with 3/16. We've got our top shear block placement. We've got our post cut to height. So let's go ahead and just do 3/8 holes on the back of this post. So we'll just run it backwards. So the 3/8 holes in the back, that'll allow the threaded terminal to freely pass through there even at 34 degrees. Okay, so for the face size where our female end for our threaded terminal comes through, we actually need to go to a 7/16 and bring that down to pitch. So I'll do a few of those for you. So we're going to go straight in, and then we're just going to bring it down to about 34 degrees. Straight in. And the more straight you can bring it down, the less paint. Now before actually reinstalling all of these, make sure your hardware is going to freely pass through there. Yep, it's snug, which we like. It's a pretty clean look, so I think we'll go with that. It's a little tight, but I don't think we want to go any bigger. All right, so our bottom post is complete. Let's go ahead and hang it back up. throw a level on that, see where we're sitting, and then we'll put some snap pocket in. And we can come back and cut a custom spacer for it later. All right, let's measure and cut some snap pocket and insert our snap pocket. So then what I've done for this end, we need to put an end cap on there, but with our 2 screws on there, our legs hit. And so what I did is just took my hacksaw to it and made a slice about halfway back. So what I'm going to do is remove those inside legs, and then my end cap will sit flush. To remove those, just grab a pair of lineman's pliers, vice grips, whatever you got handy. Make sure you cut it past that second rib. Lock onto it, back and forth a couple times, she'll pop right off. It's going to drop a 3/4 inch screw into it from the side. That locked up nice tight against our end. Now we're ready to cut that piece of top rail and our stair top rail. All right, let's do our stair rail. Okay, so we have our 3 top holes from our 42-inch high deck mount, and our 42-inch high deck rail that's side mounted, and those are going to end just the other side of the post. So we're going to start our threaded terminals on this end, run our quick connects on this end. That way I don't have to try and get in underneath here and tighten that. So we'll do that now. All right, since we only have one opening, I'm just going to go ahead and start our threaded terminal into our female end, and I'm just going to bring it over. Measure my length, cut it. We'll put our grommets on. We're going to go ahead and start our female terminal just like we did in our other applications. Make sure our end's twisted, and then we'll put our quick connect on this end. And this one should be kind of interesting. Actually, that wasn't bad at all. So we have our 3 terminated ones done. So we'll go ahead and run our stair ones, and then we'll come back and tighten them all. All right, so the rest of them we drilled so that the bevel washer, threaded terminal, and female threaded terminal end are at the bottom of our stair run. We're just going to go ahead and insert in our top hole our threaded terminal. We'll feed it out the other side enough that we can work with it. We're going to do the flat side out, the bevel side to the post. And we'll shove that back up in there. And then we'll go ahead and string our cable. Now we'll start putting our grommets on. Let's just go ahead and mark these as we go. We don't have a cable insert to come back and try and put in. And on with our quick connect. So we have all 13 of our cables strung. The first 3 are going to terminate at our newel posts. Remember, we did these ones with the threaded terminal on this end, so it's a little bit easier to tighten than trying to get up underneath there, and then we won't scratch our top rail here. Our or our stair ones, our 10 stair ones, we'll tighten from the other end with our bevel washers. Remember that the bevel washers only come as 32 degrees, so unless your stairs are exactly 32 degrees, you're going to have a little gap at the top or the bottom. It's not a big deal. It's still getting you on pitch. So we'll run our Allen key the long way to get the excess out of them, because we can't get a full turn out of them. And then once we get snug, then we'll flip it sideways for more leverage. So we've tightened our last section using a threaded terminal and the female end and a bevel washer to accommodate for our pitch of our stairs. And if you have more specific questions as to post installation, whether it's side mount or deck mount, snap pocket, top rail, mitering, such, please see our other videos on the website at crystalliteinc.com.